What's up? What is up? Space Talk time, man. We following a big time victory. In fact, I should just start by singing Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, boy. What a night. What a night. I woke up this morning like, bro, did that really happen last night? Was I really in the building? Did I really see Mason go crazy in stadium? I think that is the case, baby. So you know, even though it is Christmas Eve, I say, yeah, we got to talk about this one, man. We can't wait till Wednesday for this one. No. We got to get this one going today, baby, all right? So y'all know how we gonna do. Y'all hit that like button one time for Rudolph with his nose so bright. And don't forget to subscribe because he got that Steelers sleigh last night. And it was amazing, man. Let's ride. But let's start it like how we always do. Let me know where you are tuning in from on this here Christmas Eve stream. And now I give you that big boy shout out to start today's show, man. Y'all know how we gonna get it in, baby. My man Juicebox 32 said he back in the Mile High. Nah, salute you. I'm already in the Mile High with you, man. Even when we not together, we together. You catch my drift. I Ultra says Mason for president. Now, big facts, man. The way he was playing last night, boy. There the man go ride dollars one time for the coach in the 330 Youngstown, Ohio. Caroline, baby. DJ Lundy always tapping in, man. Major love, you already know what time it is. 757 Norfolk, VA. Sophia says she feeling good on a Sunday. Hey, man, that make two of us, then you feel me? Beautiful day. NSMC 99 in the 724. Monica. PA, salute you, baby, salute you. Oh, John Barentes. Shout out to John Barentes in the 808 Honolulu, Hawaii. Man, shout out to you over there. One time for the coach of Gary Yates in that 502 Louisville. Let's go. I'm telling you, man. When the dudes play like how they did last night, man, everything feel better, baby. Everything. I was drinking my coffee this morning. I'm like, bro, this hit a little extra today, man. I was eating me a little late night dessert last night. It was hitting a little extra. You dig what I'm saying, man? That's just how it be right now, man. Shout out to the Mason, man. Lifted one said it. Mason ain't right back, though. He ain't right back, baby. You know he ain't right back. Come on, man. Kevin Primus, I see you in the 919, Durham, North Carolina. And you know the bro Barry, I'm always repping the crib, 757. Let's get it. What up, Felicia Bellard? You know what time it is, man. When you in the building, tapping in from the 337 Lake Charles, Louisiana. And we can't forget lifted ones in the 916 in the crib. And he says, once again, Mason ain't right back. Can't write back. That's the one that you can't do, baby. You can't write back. You seen what Geno Smith said? It's a lot of quarterbacks out here that wrote back. Mason letting everybody know he ain't been writing them back, man. Y'all wrote him off. He ain't done yet, though. What up, Ryan McPherson? He says, Moats, what up in the 480 Gilbert, Arizona? Salute you, man. And see, this isn't the 6 a.m. start for you guys. Actually, I don't know. It might be 7. I gotta see. No. Because 3 hour difference, right? Or it's 2. It might be 2 hours right now, depending on what time of year it is. Daylight savings time. Yeah, it might be 2. So, not too early, right? We tried to, accommodate. That's the thought process today. Wendy Johnson, the 562 Long Beach, California. Once again, Wendy, see, a 9 a.m. You feel me? Not the 6 a.m., not the 7 a.m. Man, you a 9 a.m. today, man. Salute y'all over there on the west side. Now y'all had a good little night last night. You feel me? Man, Leonard Gillum, I said the same thing. 290 with 2 of them teddy things. Who, what, how, when? I don't care. I love it. Yes, sir. And you know David Soto always tapping in from Chicago. Love it, man. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Like I said, man, it's one of them days today, man. Beautiful day. Shoot, y'all know I was down at the stadium, man. It felt great, too, man. You know, you pulling up. It was all Christmassy and festival-y last night, man. Everybody had the reindeers out. Seen like 30 different Santa Clauses. Seen sober Santa, non-sober Santa, slim Santa, thick Santa, dark red Santa, light red Santa, woman Santa, man Santa. It was all over the place, but it was a vibe. And then as y'all can see in some of the pics that we posted up, had my little one with me and her little boyfriend. So it was a little cool little dad chaperone game day work vibe. So, you know, I had a lot riding on Mason. You feel me? I needed my man Mason to show up in a big way, and boy, did he. So salute him on that one, man. And yes, held in _ daddy. Deke definitely still might be highly intoxicated, man. My man was all one shout out. If y'all ain't seen Deke vids, bro, he had me crying. We was talking day ago before that game. He's like, bro, I gotta cop the jersey. I'm copping the jersey, but I'm leaving the tags on. I'm like, bro, what you mean you gonna leave the tags on? And when he showed me that vid, I died laughing, bro. And then, of course, after the game, yeah, he's all, what, man, the tags is off, bro. They gone. It's a wrap. He's the guy. So, yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait till we get back together, man. That's my dog right there, baby. But, yeah, it was definitely one of them ones, man. It was definitely one of them ones. All right, man. Shout out to Kyle Moyer. I got some supers already pulling up, man. Let me tap in with you real quick, man. All right, Kyle Moyer says, Rudolph and the Steelers couldn't have done it better. Mason played with heart yesterday. Best QB performance all year. And shout out to the play calling. Yeah, I mean, to start it off, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Mason overall finished with, what, 17 for 27, 290 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, which was the big part of this thing, right? We also know he had the run 2 for 4 yards. He had the long 7-yard run, picked up the first down. So, in terms of just Mason as a whole, you had a guy that was selectively aggressive, right? We saw a couple of the deep shots, which we loved. Not even talking about the one where Pickens took the slant to the crib, the first one. I'm talking about just some of the passes that he had down the yard. Beautiful, right? In terms of knowing when to be aggressive, when to take some of those chances, but at the same time being smart with the ball. He didn't really take the risky throws, which I was really proud of. Not a lot of scenarios where we were concerned with turnovers. I thought that he also handled some of the pass rush really well in terms of him just maneuvering through the pocket, sliding up, versus what we've talked about with Mitch and Kenny at times this year, where they have more of a tendency to try to reverse out the back door, right? Where Kenny, he'll go with the reverse spin, or we said with Mitch, he'll try to drift and then try to throw off his back foot. Mason, he was doing more of this step up and climb into the pocket. So it did look really good out there, man. And in terms of the play calling, man, that was one of them ones where you're sitting here and you're like, you felt like it was a good flow. A couple of calls that I thought stood out to me. Obviously, we like the jet sweep, or I guess you'd call it, I don't know if you call it a jet sweep, or you call it a wide receiver sweep. The Calvin Austin touchdown where Jaylen Warren had the big time block. I mean, my man held his word, didn't he? He said, I'll block for you. My man, he out there killing folk, bro. Shout out to 30. But I like that play just in terms of the timing of it, right? We've seen that call before, but the timing of it felt right. And then, even though this play did not work, I loved the call. It was in the red zone right after Mason had picked up the first down, and they called, it was like a fake toss play to the left, and they had, I think it was Allen Robinson trying to sneak out underneath. He ended up getting tangled up a little bit with one of the D linemen. Otherwise, he's going to walk in with a little dump off throw for a touchdown. It was a beautiful design. I thought the D lineman just made a really good play in terms of just recognizing, or I don't even think he recognized it. It low-key felt like it was like fluky in stadium watching it happen at that moment. But to me, man, I was really impressed with that element of it as well. And just their ability to decide when they wanted to take some shots, when they needed to rely on that running game a little bit more. And even when they decided to have some conservative calls, I thought it was appropriate at certain times in that game, man. So like I said, I definitely was digging that right there, man. Definitely was. Kyle Mayer also says, GP is a superstar in all caps. He'll grow, but I don't blame him for being upset recently. He proved that he's an absolute stud, he's an absolute stud waiting to be released or waiting to be unleashed. Hashtag play through GP. So I thought what GP showed yesterday was a perfect example of why we are where we are as it pertains to him and the handling of him. Prior to yesterday, what was the conversation? Should you trade GP? Should you bench GP? Should you sit GP? How do you discipline GP? Coach Tomlin is enabling GP. All these people that kind of turned a blind eye to him because of his talent. Oh, you're going to create another Antonio Brown. I forgot who it was on ESPN. They were going down the list of why the wide receiver room is so cancerous and all this other stuff, right? But then you see what he is actually capable of. And now you understand why, no different than when we talked about the Antonio Brown situation to an extent. It was you deal with certain things when you have a player that has this type of talent, especially at this level. That's some of the business part of it. You don't get the luxury of just, oh, he's not cooperating, sitting down, I don't care. It's like, no, that dude's arguably your best player on offense if he can consistently put it together and stay out of his own way. So I'm sure it was people that didn't want GP out there last night. I'm sure it was people that wanted GP bench for the first quarter of the game. I'm sure it was people that wanted GP traded, right? We had them conversations. But you look at what happens, man. 2 plays into the game for the offense, he's taking some 86. My man, shoot, it was at one point, I think he had 2 catches for like 130 yards. I'm like, bro, this is stupid out here. And you saw what he ended with, 4 for 195, 2 tutties, big boy. I mean, let me see what he averaged per catch. It was like something filthy. My man, 4 for 195, 2 touchdowns, had a long for 86 on 6 targets. He averaged 48.8 yards per reception. So this is why when people talk about why does Coach Tomlin put up with this attitude, why does he do this? This is why. At the professional level, you get this. You got to deal with this. You got to figure out how to balance the personalities. And that's the one thing when I will always say, people look at being a player's coach as a negative, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. You need to be able to relate to these dudes. You need to be able to understand these dudes, because if you know what this guy is truly capable of, then you might be willing to go through a little bit more with him if you understand him a little bit more, because you know what you're trying to get out of him. And that's ultimately what we saw last night. Now, the big thing with GP is this. I loved how he talked in the press conference. I loved the tone that he had. He was humble, and he was understanding the accountability part. It's a lot easier after a crazy performance like that. So my thing is, I just want that to sustain. I need that to be consistent. We know he's talented. We know the production is capable. You just give him the opportunities. But more importantly, the temperament. That's the part for me where it's like, I just need to keep seeing that type of stuff from him, man, because the talent is there. But what will get him in trouble faster than, anything else is some of the way that he, displays himself, man, his frustration, stuff like that. And that was the big reason why it even got to where it was this past week. But this is the big reason why you put up with what you put up with players like him, because who on that roster was giving you that? I love Deontay Johnson, but Deontay's game isn't that. That's that explosive, we can just blow the game wide open vibe. That's a different caliber player. You see what I mean? So, man, salute Coach Tomlin in the way that he handled the situation. Salute George Pickens and his maturity. And salute Mason Rudolph, man, for delivering some balls that he could catch and go to work with. And obviously Mike Sullivan, Eddie Faulkner, man, for keeping him involved in the playbook, right? Or not the playbook, but just in the scheme. Because if you think about it, right, they could have said, well, we're going to put you out there, but we're not going to feature you. We're going to have all our targets going over here to the right. You're the backside guy. No one cares about you. But clearly you can see, I mean, even on the Mason Rudolph touchdown pass, that was one of their first reads. I'm flat. I see that slant coming behind that linebacker sitting here. Deliver a beautiful throw in stride, catches it, and that ball placement, right? We talk about ball placement. Why at this level it matters. Pass behind, you're not getting the great run at the catch opportunity. Pass too low, you got to go down there to get it. You're not going to get that same run at the catch opportunity. Pass too high, similar concept, but you watch your Mason put it right where it needed to be so you can catch, head around, and now we going, make a guy miss, and now it's out to the races. That's the little details. So it was good to see Mason be able to execute those little details also today, man. So salute him for that, man. Salute him. And Richard Arbizo, definitely got to get an O-lineman some flowers, man, because I thought that they protected really well yesterday. You think about the difference between, Mason getting sacked once. Now, it was some pressure on occasion, but nowhere near to the level that Jake Browning was going through, along with the fact where for Jake Browning, they really started to go with some of that quicker passing attack, and we'll get to that in a little while. But, yeah, man, our offensive line definitely did well, man, giving Mason some time as well. But, yeah, I was really, like I said, really impressed with GP from start to finish and even post-game, how he was able to address everything, so to speak, and kind of get that thing back out there in the right way. So, like I said, definitely liking that, man. Definitely. Shout out to Jim Mafia, too. What up, Jim Mafia? Says, long time Steelers fan. Miss you, brother. Man, I miss you, too. I was glad to be out there yesterday seeing my guys take care of business, man. Give me the Christmas day that I need, or pre-Christmas day that I need. You know how much better Christmas Eve feels right now? Because we just took care of business last night. You know how good it feels today on Christmas Eve knowing that we dropped 30 on them folk last night? Man, before we left, my little man, shout out to my son. He's like, Dad, I said, yo, what's the score prediction before I walk out the door? What you got for me? He said, it's going to be 35-17. I looked at him. I said, huh? I was like, is Mason playing today, right? He was like, yep. It's going to be 35-17. Can't make this up, bro. I said, bro, shout out to you. So that's why you see me in the pictures. I have him FaceTime because I had to call him like, bro, you was right. You was right. You called it, bro. So, yeah, man, salute to the 35 piece, though, man. But, yeah, Jim Mafia, man, salute you, baby. Salute you. Nanzito. What up, Nanzito? Oh, love, you already know what time it is. One time for the culture. He says, I cried multiple times last night. 30 times 14 in the end zone and 14 dabbing up Mike T was so beautiful to see. Tears emoji. That's what it's all about in my book. I 100% agree with you. That's the family part. And anybody that is, been able to be on any type of competitive sports team, man, or any type of situation like this, man, if you're around each other that often, man, things get said. Sometimes, y'all have difference of opinions. And yeah, there's going to be some tension on occasion. But when it's coming from a place of love, when we are all locked in, when we all understand where we are heart to heart, man, you're able to bounce back. You're able to rally together versus, separate. And I think that that's one of the beautiful parts when we talk about the Steelers in that family dynamic. As a guy who's, lived it, that's the difference. A lot of times, man, when the adversity is getting loud and that pressure is hitting, you look at social media, you look at what the media says, and everybody's, or the majority of people's, tendency is to result with what? Separate it, cut this, fire that, this can't work, blow it up. Whereas when you're a part of it, you're like, no, man, in times of adversity, you don't separate. You got to come together. We got to get locked in. We got to get closer, because that's going to help us operate with better detail for each other. That's going to help us do our job to the best of our abilities. And I thought, man, yesterday was a big example of that. Whether you're talking Mason Rudolph, a dude that plenty of times throughout his tenure, especially in these past 2 years, has had ample opportunity to either walk away, quit, pout, have terrible body language, any type of stuff like that. But every single time you hear him speak, the message is the same. Every single time you see him get an opportunity right now too, or at least this year, when he's gotten this opportunity, he hasn't went out there with any type of, man, I was supposed to be out here, or entitled feeling, or pissed off that you guys didn't allow me to get this chance. Nah, he goes out there, man, and he executes. He shows that, man, I do what I'm supposed to do behind the scenes. And that was the big thing for me. It's like, we can't tell how hard you've been working just based off what you tell us, but you can show us when you get this opportunity, preparation, opportunity, and now you're making it happen, right? Now you capitalize on this moment where it's a totally different conversation and feeling surrounding Masoff compared to 24 hours ago. And that's the beautiful part about working in private, man. That's what he's been doing, and it was good to see it actually, like I said, come to fruition. But yeah, man, Jaylen Warren and GP, we know both of them dudes, man, in the media for comments, more so 14, 30 just kind of reacted to it. But it was good to see the love there, right? 30 still making big blocks, and then when you see 14 score, who the first guy in the end zone celebrating with him? 30. When you see 14 coming to the sideline dapping up who? Coach T. It's like, man, we not in here beefing with each other. I know that's fun for clicks. I know that's fun for like people to watch, but in all seriousness, man, in that locker room, man, we brothers. And that's what you want to see. You want to see them dudes rally together. You want to see you be able to critique, criticize, and, hold each other accountable. But at the same time, it's like, yo, we're going to be locked in because we know where this thing is coming from. So, like I said, definitely was digging that right there, man. Absolutely. Shout out to you, Nanzito, for that super chat as well. Y'all hit that like button too, man. There's a lot of y'all in here today, man. We celebrating that dub last night, man. We had 30-plus points with Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer cooking it. Boy, let's ride, man. Like I said, I wasn't on this Rudolph thing. Y'all know me. I was like, yo, I don't think we need to be just on those Rudolph jokes. But, man, when the Steelers played Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer as the game ended, and they kept zooming the camera on Mason, he was smiling. I'm like, all right, he's cool with it. So, I'm all in the Rudolph train now, baby. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. All right? Because, yeah, they played it. They played it. And it was a vibe. It just felt right. They had the little you see Mason walking. I'm like, dang, bro. Rudolph. We had Rudolph chants going on in the stadium last night. We can't make this up, bro. Can't make it up. GF. He says 8 with only 1 real week of practice without taking any snaps in a year. Wow. Like, that's almost impossible. 8 with only 1. Oh, he's saying he 8 with only 1 real week of practice. Yeah. And think about it like this, man. This is why we say he's been preparing in private. We talk about, if you're not the starter, you're not getting the lion's share of the reps. The starter is always going to get, if it's 12 plays per practice session, the starter's going to get 10 of those plays, Backup gets 2, or the starter's going to get 8 of those plays. Then the 2s and 3s are going to split them last 4 reps. That's how it typically is. So if you're going to get reps, you got to get them on your own. Practice, go over there and take the practice squad reps. Try to stay afterwards, get throws in like that. Watch extra film, stuff like that. So you really got to take the initiative if you're not the starter. This is nothing that is different or new for the quarterback versus any other backup position, right? The same things I'm saying about Mason Rudolph are the same things that I could be saying about Michael Walker, right? Or Eric Rowe, who came off the bench, right? Came in, made some plays. Miles Jack, right? Came off the practice squad, made some plays. So all of these cats, to an extent, have had to prepare on their own. So, yeah, man, in terms of the short actual week of him getting reps, man, it was beautiful to see that he actually made the most of them opportunities, man. And that's what you want to see. Because with football, it's like that, man. But we call this football justice. If you're preparing and you're doing everything you're supposed to do behind the scenes, man, and that opportunity circles back, if you have been faithful to this game, man, the game 9 times out of 10 will be faithful back to you. And that's what we saw last night with Mason, man. But it was beautiful. Now, it really makes it interesting, though, in terms of just the dynamic of that room and these next, what you do, right? It's like, obviously, you're not thinking about not playing them this week, right? You got to play them after that performance. But at the same time, we also know Kenny has been our guy. But that's one of the ones where it's like, man, you can't take Mason off that field after that performance, man. Mason got to be the guy this week. We got to see that again. We ain't seen 30-plus multi-passing touchdowns, clean performance, look competent offensively. Nah. So this is really intriguing, man, because now we got to see if he can repeat it. Now, it's crazy the timing. It's kind of working out for Mason, because if you continue to play these next 2 games or whatever other opportunities you get, like what you just showed, them the type of dudes that you get that Matt Flynn type deal, where they're like, whoa, all right, maybe we need to take a chance on this cat. Maybe we need to pay him. Or maybe even here, we're like, whoa, maybe we want to extend you now. You need to stay for a little bit. Those are the convos that begin to happen because of what we saw last night and the timing of where we are across the board. So, like I said, for Mason, man, this is real, man. This is real. I'm just happy for him, man. Take advantage of the opportunity. Alrighty. We got Jay Blanche. Shout out to Jay Blanche. He says, how do you reasonably go back to Kenny after that performance? The numbers don't lie. Same weapons, same O-line, different game. Yeah, that is definitely the big dilemma right now. It's a good situation to be in, though, right? Prior to Mason playing, we were going to say what? Man, Mason's going to hold, do whatever he needs to do this week, and then we're going to put Kenny out there when he's healthy. All of that goes out the window now. Mason gave you arguably the best quarterback performance that we've seen in the past 2 years. That's the reality of it. This offense. Remember, think about some of the stuff that we've talked about, right? Man, this is not fair for this player because he's had to have Matt Canada. Or it's not fair for this guy right now because we fired Matt Canada, but, he's got to call these plays. Or this receiver can't do this because of this call, the scheme. And it's like, all of that stuff was still in play last night. Same O-line. Remember, we talked about same plays, right? Matt Canada playbook, just somebody else different calling it. And like, you got all this other stuff taking place, and now it's like, well, what was the difference? Difference was last night we had a dude delivering that ball consistently where it needed to be, taking the chances where we needed to take them, protecting it, and ultimately, man, showing that confidence, being the leader, man. That's what technically, what you want in QB1. That's the truth with it, man. And the only reason it's even gotten to this is cause and effect. We've went through 2 other quarterbacks prior to Mason getting this opportunity. And neither of them in all of those opportunities have looked to the point where Mason has. Without it having to be some type of grade on a curve, or let's, take out these quarters and let's highlight this part, or, hey, what if we just say winning, right? He won. That's all that matters. It's like, we don't have to do any of that grading on a scale based on what Mason Rudolph did last night. And that's very different than what has been the case, these past 2 years. But like I said, it was one game, and that's the intriguing part with Mason. And that's why I'm like, you got to see it again. I feel like you owe it to yourself. You're too far into this thing to not see it again. And I don't think it hurts anything. So, yeah, I don't think you can, move off of him right now. I think you have to ride that hot hand going into this must win in Seattle. I think you got to do it, man. All right. Jay Blanche also says, do you think sitting behind 7 helped Mason at all? Now, this is going to be super intriguing because I'm sure it's going to be people that, are going to look back to 7 and want to give him some credit for this. Are they going to want to look and say, man, Mason being under 7 has definitely helped? But I don't know. I mean, I think to an extent, yes, him being around him watching him does help. But you also have to remember, 7 was very vocal about not being that eager to want to help Mason or be under, have Mason be under his wing. That's part of why, everybody kind of viewed Mason how they viewed him. So if you want to give 7 credit for it, cool. But I remember when they said, Mason was like, yo, we're going to work. How we going to get better? And he was like, I'm going to just point to the playbook. Like, that's my only thing. And that's what he said. So, like I said, I don't know how much of an impact it had on him, but I'm sure it couldn't have hurt, at least him being around watching him. But yeah, in terms of, what he actually, got from behind him, I just don't know because that wasn't the relationship that was communicated to be like that. It wasn't this mentorship. It wasn't this, you're the guy that we got in training. Yeah, so I really don't know. But shout out to Mason though, man. Whatever he's acquired throughout this process, I tell you what, he's been making it work for himself, man. And that's the one truthful thing with this thing. Regardless of how many reps, how many times he's been slighted, looked over, whatever it's been, he consistently shows up. He consistently, puts his best foot forward, man. And that's what you want to see right now, man. Inquisitor Holt. Shout out to Inquisitor Holt, by the way, baby. Appreciate you for that super chat as well. He says, hey, Moats. Miles Jack said, he needs you to come off that couch like he did yesterday. Absolutely not. I'm cool on that. Shout out to Miles, though, man. I felt for him, and I was happy for him. I'm like, yo, yeah, I know they stressing you out over there because when the Landon Roberts went down, yeah, I said, oh no. That instantly put Miles Jack in the captain's chair, in the driver's seat, green dot the boy. And yeah, that's a whole nother level of pressure. It's one thing to come off the sideline, come off the couch, and you're playing Batman or you're playing Robin, right? That's a lot easier to do. But then when they like, oh, quarter into this thing, now you gonna be Batman for the rest of the game. Yeah. My man was over there having to make calls. He getting the call in through the helmet. I'm like, yo, he's going through it right now, man. But I thought he played well. All things considered, it's hard to get thrown into that thing like that. And then the role that you're supposed to be in gets altered mid-game. And now you got to take on a totally new role with more responsibilities, more challenges and stuff like that, man. I commend him in a major way. That's professionalism to the utmost degree. Should have had a pick. I'm pissed he dropped that one, but he did make up for it with the sack late in the game, so salute him on that. And Miles is athletic as sack, man. We know Miles brings those things to the table. But, yeah, Miles, yeah, he wasn't supposed to have that big of a role just yet. So I get it, man. But like I said, I was definitely happy for him, though, man. Making the plays that he had to make because, yeah, that is not an easy position to be in, baby. Absolutely not. But he definitely did his thing, and he made the plays that we needed to make, man. Shout out to Damon Brown. He says, sorry, JSU fell short. Great season. Jackson? I don't know. Jackson State? Maybe you might be talking, I don't know. You might be talking about Jackson State, but JMU also lost yesterday, so we could be talking about them too. I didn't even get a chance to check the game. Honestly, man, we weren't even tripping on the game, man. We knew we had a lot of transition going on over there. But hey, man, it was a dope performance, man. My cats showed up. Like I said, I'm going to rewatch the game at some point today or tomorrow, man. But nah, salute them cats, man. We ain't got nothing to hang our hat on, boy. What you talking about? Heck of a season. So salute you, Damon. But yeah, I don't know if you meant JSU or JMU. But either way, salute you, baby. From the heart. Oh, he did. Okay, you didn't mean JMU. Okay, salute you then, Demond. Salute you. Yeah, man, them dudes, man. It was one of them scenarios where, just a little, context. Great season, but as soon as the regular season ended, head coach and 90% of the staff had left to go to Indiana. You also had, a couple of key players into the transfer portal where they were already going to be leaving as well. We hired a new coach. So you have the new coach come in with some leftover staff. Some of the transfer portal players did stay to play. So it was kind of a hodgepodge stuff like that, man. But, when you're playing against, one of the military academies, man, you better be buttoned up assignment football. And apparently that was not the case. But I'm going to definitely check it out, man. But I love the sportsmanship at the end. I did get a chance to see some of the clips, man, where both teams were seeing their alma maters. And both squads stood behind each other, man, during that process, man. Salute them Air Force cats, man. Definitely a fan of them boys over there now, man. But, yeah, like I said, I'm definitely going to I'm going to go back and rewatch the game. Because, like I said, that game started at, 3? By that time, man, 3:30, by that time, I'm at the stadium interviewing Chris Hoke. Shout out to Hokey, bro, as well, man. Dope interviewing. A lot of y'all, man, that did pull up, man. Salute y'all as well. And it was good to see y'all out there yesterday, man. But so while the game was starting, I'm doing the interview, and then when the game is like really going, that's when kickoff started for the Steelers. So yeah, I had no time to tap in and check any of that, man. And then when Mason started going Mason on us, yeah, I was like, I don't care what's going on, all right? But if you know, I had a great nightcap. I tell you that. My NFL Saturday was phenomenal. I can't complain there, baby. Can't complain there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And y'all hit that like button one time for the coach. And don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so just yet. But yeah, did want to take a time to talk about the defense for a little bit too. Because, man, them dudes, we knew coming into this game, they were banged up. We said we were going to be without Minka, without DeMonte Casey, without Keanu Neal. We were without pretty much all of our starting linebackers. And then, within, a couple quarters, we drop a Landon Roberts as well. So just across the board, we're pretty banged up, man. But when you look at what we were able to do in terms of just minimizing their impact, right? Let's pull up a couple of things real quick. Big part with me was the running game. Joe Mixon, 11 rushes, 43 yards. Minimized it, man. As a whole, they had 59 rushing yards throughout the game. Part of that was because of the explosive plays, our ability to jump out to where we jumped out to. But I thought also, man, just in terms of them situationally trying to be able to run the ball, we did a good job with that. The other part that I enjoyed was this. We said our pass rush was going to have to win, right? We sacked that man 3 times. We created pressure between Highsmith, between TJ Watt, the interior guys, man. All those dudes up front, man, winning their one-on-ones at times, and then the pressure package as well. We were really vanilla in terms of our coverage. And that was the intriguing part, because whenever you're dealing with some of the changes that we had in the different body parts, right? Eric Rowe, Pat Pete playing at safety, Miles Jack coming off the practice squad. You know what I mean? Like, we were kind of all over the place a little bit. And we knew this Bengals team was explosive through the air, at least the week prior to that. Now, we knew there was some context with that also, but that was something that we had to be aware of. So as this game is going on, you're looking, and I'm just like, bro, we're playing cover 3 80, 90% of the time. We're just dressing it up so many different ways. And the reason why we're able to get away with it is because our pass rush as well. Our pass rush was winning up front, man, and that was a big thing. But in terms of the coverage on the back end, when you start throwing in some of these, we're going to still play cover 3, but we're going to have different body people get into those spots. It makes the coverage look different. So for Jake Brown, and a young quarterback who we said does what? We said, man, he delivers some good throws, but he takes chances. We said, going into this game, that was part of our matchups, right, to look out for. When he throws that ball and he takes those chances, I'm not asking you to be a hero and go do something out the framework of the defense. I'm just simply saying catch the ones he throws to you, because on tape, he does that a lot. But his receivers have been doing a great job of making him right. And that was the difference. The first time we had an opportunity was Levi Wallace, right? Levi had that chance, man. He throwing that thing to a rolled up corner. Levi come outside in and just couldn't pull it in. But it was like, okay, you're already seeing he's going to still be him. He makes some good plays, but he's going to take chance with this football. We just got to catch it. And you saw across the board, Pat P, beautiful pick in the end zone. You talk about Eric Rowe, beautiful job Turner's catching his pick, man. And then Highsmith with the pick of the year. Holy smokes. Dropping in coverage, going out that thing, showing us outside linebackers do got hands. But yeah, man, across the board, like I said, seeing those dudes do that type of stuff, man, absolutely beautiful. And that's what you want to see, man. You want to see your defenders, man, when you understand the significance of this game, when you understand what is going on, where we're strong, where we're weak at, you want dudes that's going to be able to come out that thing and step up and elevate their play. In between them D linemen, pass rusher cats, elevating their play up in the front. And then on the back end, them dudes doing what they're supposed to do, catching the ones that he throws to you. That's the difference, man. And it felt great. But it wasn't anything that, was not sustainable or something where we felt like these guys are overachieving. But you also could see the difference too, right? On plays where our pass rush won, Jake Brown either was turning it over or he'd never looked comfortable, right? When he had actual time, though, that was the difference when you would see T. Higgins kind of doing what he was doing, right? Because what did T ended up with? He ended up with a little crazy little game, too. 5 for 140. Yeah, and then obviously Tyler Boyd had the 5 for 59. Drew Sample 3 for 38. A lot of that stems from what, though? When our pass rush did not win, that's when you see Jake back there had time. And, yeah, he could light it up a little bit. And then T. Higgins, man, he was on his own. Yeah, he had a little GP moment when he split the safeties and, yeah, took it to the crib. But that's who we are right now. We are a team defensively that is predicated on our front. We say, man, if we win up front, our DBs look good. If we lose up front, our DBs going to look bad. And that held true, man. But as long as we know what it is going in, we just got to go out there and make it work. We know what our strengths and our weaknesses are at this point in the season, man. It is no secret. No different than when we play in other teams. We know what their strengths and weaknesses are. It's all about maximizing that strength and minimizing that weakness as best you can right now, man. Absolutely. And Chris G hit it perfectly. He says, you got to bend, but don't break. And at times, absolutely, you got to do it at times, man. Because, yeah, at this stage, if everybody was healthy, it's a different conversation. Right now, you're down to your fifth linebacker at times. You know what I mean? Your fifth or fourth corner or safety option. So when you get there, yeah, sometimes you are going to bend a little bit. But when that field gets condensed, when it's that tight red and it's points, plays and stuff like that, that's when we got to be ready to lighten up or to lock in and tighten up. That's when we got to be ready to, focus and make those plays happen, man. So you seeing it, man. You seeing it. And like I said, I love it right now, man. That's what we needed. C. Brown said that block hit by Warren. I was like, hey. Yeah, man. He went crazy. I just love how when you watch Jaylen, he's a dude that accelerates to the contact, man. Some of these dudes, they start slowing down. Some of these dudes, they start to brace for it a little bit. Nah, not 30. 30 is a dude that increases speed as he's getting ready to hit. And I love it, man, because it doesn't fit his body. You typically see that from big body guys. Jaylen's a small, or not small, he's a short guy. He's compact. He ain't small. He definitely ain't small, man. But that's kind of the thing with him, though, right? You're looking and you're like, oh, you don't really think that this little guy can hit like that. And then before you know it, it's like, bro, that linebacker is flipping. I say, bro, what? And that's a dang on good linebacker. Flipped him. I'm like, yo, all right. Salute him, bro. Salute him, man. Oh, yes, Justin Petit. You better talk about 95. Keanu Benton one time for the culture. Man, I love watching his game, man. Like I said, big, nimble, plays with elite effort, man. Elite effort. He will chase that ball. But I love his hand placement. That's the one thing from whether it was week 1, week 2 when he was against opportunities to even now. His hand placement, he's so consistent, and that's part of why he's able to be so successful when he's out there on that field, man. Like I said, I really like watching this game, man. Really do. Really do. Let me see. With somebody else, too, man, I want to... Where is he at? Oh, man. Dang. Can't remember which one it was. It was somebody I was going to hit up in a second, man. And Jesse James Gray says, George Pickens is him. Nah, big facts, man. Like we said, GP playing like that, man. GP, yeah, that's the version we know. That's the version we love. And that's also the version that deserves more targets, too, man. We ain't tripping on it. We get it. That's who he is. That's what he's capable of. We know that. But we also know he got some other stuff to come with it. Okay, well, we got to manage the other stuff while we continue to maximize that type of stuff that we saw last night. But that's this league, man. That's this league. And that's why I feel like, man, when you talk Coach Tomlin and why I still feel like he's the guy, it's because of stuff like that, man. He's able to lead men. He's able to relate to them. He's able to communicate and say, man, you know what? Yeah, we all going through it. We all in the middle of adversity. And nobody is giving us any type of benefit of the doubt. Nobody giving us any type of grace. But guess what? No one cares. So F it. Let's go. And you talk about a dude getting this guy's ready to roll. Nobody expected this team to come out there and look like that. They thought they was finna go out there and just roll over and play dead. But that was the exact opposite of what happened, man. And it was beautiful to see that, once again, a guy like Coach Tomlin can still find a way in the midst of all this chaos to get this team going, to get GP focused and get, like I said, this team showing up and playing ball like we ain't seen in a minute around here, man. Just learned this, he gonna cook up a ribeye today to celebrate. Yeah. Hey, man, you better do that then, baby. One time for the culture. Now, Damon Brown asks, does JPJ have a shot at Defensive Rookie of the Year? I have to check. I feel like I'm missing a name, man. I feel like it's definitely a name that I'm missing. Let's see what the NFL Player of the Year odds are, or NFL Rookie Player of the Years are. Because I know I'll be missing a name if I just start doing it off the top of my head. Oh, yeah. Cat from Philly. Jalen Carter. That's the one that he has to fight against. And Jalen got them touchdowns. Yeah. So that's going to be a little tough one right there, man. But I don't see why he's not in the conversation, though. He's playing corner. I think if he can get a touchdown, if he can get some points, I think that'd be big for him, too. Because he obviously has the picks. He's done some of that. And we obviously know he's shadowing certain people as well. So that's definitely helped him out. Let me see who else they have. But yeah, Jalen Carter is definitely one of them dudes. But they have him listed. I'm looking at some of these odds right now. They're talking about him as, one of their top 5 dudes for that. Ivan Pace. They had JPJ listed as 4. Ivan Pace, or excuse me, JPJ was the 5th guy they talked about. Ivan Pace from Minnesota, inside linebacker from Cincinnati. He just came out. He's been really productive up there with Brian Flores. They talked about him. Will Anderson Jr. with the Texans. Talking about him as well. Let me see what Will Anderson is doing this year also. Let's see. How many sacks does Will Anderson have? So he has 5 sacks on the season. 19 QB hits. All right. Sheesh, I see you on that. 8 tackles for loss, 42 tackles overall. Okay. Devin Witherspoon, yeah. Witherspoon, they like him a lot. But yeah, Jalen Carter's the guy that they say has like the odds on favor right now. That's the only thing. It's like JPJ is definitely balling. JPJ is definitely making a strong case. I know they love Jalen Carter, though. Jalen Carter's been balling, and he's done it from start. You know what I mean? We know at the beginning of the year for Peasy, it was a little bit slower in terms of how much they involved him defensively, right? We talked about it. It was like, yo, can we get more of him? Can we get more of him? Whereas Jalen, out the gate, he was already in a role. So I think that's also going to hurt or help Jalen to an extent. But like I said, if Peasy Jr., man, if he could cop a touchdown or another crazy splash play, I think that could definitely help, man, along with us winning. I think those two things, man, would definitely bode well for us, man. Yep. But he's been looking good, though, man. I know they were talking about, I think it was NFL Next Gen Stats. They were showing T. Higgins' night, and obviously T. Higgins went crazy. But it was funny. They said, literally, JPJ was on him the majority of the night. And the only time when T. Higgins had those, the plays that he had in terms of the, what he had, the 5 catches for 140 yards. He said those were like the 5 plays where he wasn't guarded by JPJ. It was like crazy, yeah. So I know on the one slant that he scored on, it was playing just a regular cover 3. Our backer got to get a little bit more depth. That's where it hits and it goes. But yeah, you start watching it, you're like, yo, this is low key kind of crazy. Like I ain't realized he was doing that. But now I have me pissed. I'm like, bro, why'd y'all take him off then? I don't care if it's 5 plays. Don't take him off for no plays then if that's the case. Because yeah, 5 for 140, we don't need that at all. Leave him up there every single time if we doing that. But yeah, shout out to JPJ though, man. Like I said, man, he was looking good out there. And I saw a couple of plays just rewatching a little bit of the game, where he's isolated on T. Higgins, and you can see like he wasn't afraid of that at all. And T. Higgins, y'all know I talk about him. He's a number 1. I don't think he's he's not Jamar Chase type, but he's definitely a number 1. I think he's in that convo, like legitimate. You could build around it. You could win with that. So yeah, and we saw it even to an extent last night. But yeah. Shout out to JPJ. I felt like we got one of the ones, and he just keeps proving it. That's the other part. He keeps proving that he is who we think he is, man. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see, man. No, X Concepts don't do that. X Concept says, Kenny looks scared. He knows he's in danger. Man, so I ain't even, obviously when you're at the game, you don't get to see who they put the cameras on and stuff like that. But yeah, as I went back and looked at it again, they started flashing them cameras on Kenny, little Rudolph. I was like, or not Rudolph. I was like Kenny and Mitch. And I'm like, yeah. No, they was in that thing a lot hot. Like, you know what? I don't like this Christmas. I don't like this right here. This was the present I was looking for today, man. No, but in all seriousness, though, man, I'm sure it's mixed emotions, and rightfully so. You're happy that, your teammate, your brother, is playing well, is looking good, and that your team is winning. That's what you do want. At the same time, you understand the business of it. And Mason playing like how he did last night, based on what we've seen from Mason, based on what we've seen from Kenny and Mitch, that doesn't help those two guys out. Because if you talk about all the same variables that we would use to minimize the lack of productivity or the lack of consistency from both of those guys at times, Mason had all of those variables, and you can make a case in a worse situation because the defense wasn't as healthy. But yet and still, he was still able to go out there and maximize, from a productivity standpoint, something that we haven't seen from this offense with those same people, same offensive linemen, same play calls, same receivers, same running backs. So that's the part where I'm sure for those two dudes, man, yeah, they starting to feel it like, whoa, all right, we done got one coordinator fired. Y'all said it was the coordinator. All right, then we switched these QBs. All right, y'all said it was all this other stuff, but yet here Mason comes in with way less anything, set up for him, and he's able to make it look golden. Versus a Bengals team that we know has been playing really well, man. So that's the part where you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm sure for Kenny, yeah, you feeling that heat. I'm sure for Mitch, you feeling that heat. You're saying to yourself, man, I got to get healthy and get out there as soon as I can, but this is a part of it. When you get hurt and you're not able to go out there, you open the door for other guys to show. You open the door for other guys to impress. And you pray that while you're hurt, that the guys don't impress to that extent, where now you're talking about a potential Wiley Pipp situation where it's like, bro, you hurt, but oh well, this dude is better. This dude's playing better. We got to roll with him. That's the situation right now. And yeah, I don't think it's a negative. Like I said, it's a good problem to have for us as an organization, for us as a fan base. But yeah, for the guys that are actually involved in it, it sucks, man. From personal experience, whether you the guy that is potentially taking that guy's spot, or if you the guy that is getting your spot took. Yeah, you play this game long enough, you be on both sides of that fence, man. But yeah, it's one of them weird feelings where you really got to just, all right, yeah, I'm happy for you. Let me get back in the lab because, yeah, this is kind of crazy. But that's the dynamic, man. And the professional is, the same way Mason was in the lab working while everybody else got opportunities. If that is what the situation becomes for Kenny or for Mitch, well, hey, they got to follow that same path. They got to go over there and work on their own with the less reps and pray that whenever they get another opportunity, that they'll be able to take advantage of it as well. But yeah, this is the scenario right now, man. See Brown funny. See Brown said, GP said, by the time we get a quarterback, I'm telling you, it was funny. I say, they started throwing that thing around. Offense look way better. We over here like, oh, who need to fire anybody now? We look good. What you talking about? O-line look straight. Running game look good. Come on, man. Explosive element to the offense. What we talking about, man? Shoot. Like I said, if they doing it like that, well, yeah, I don't think there is this big issue because, like we said, we got personnel, and we've been saying we've had personnel, but the quarterback is the most important position. And this is why it's evaluated why it is, why it's paid the way it is, and why we hold it to such a high standard. Because you see how if a quarterback is playing well, just the flow of the game, offensively, defensively, heck, even special teams wise, it just feels different. It was punts that Press had last night that weren't amazing. Now he had the nice one when we needed it, but he definitely had some punts where it wasn't amazing. It was like, But when your quarterback is playing the way that he's playing, we scoring and we doing this, you like, man, we ain't tripping on that little punt right there. You know why? Because it doesn't matter to the same extent if this guy at QB is doing what we think he can do. And ultimately, that's what he showed out there, man. It looked like an old school Big 12 Oklahoma State game out there the way my man was cooking out there, man. But like I said, that's what you need to see more of. And now you make it interesting. This is for Mason. He couldn't have drew it up any better, man. Now you have it as a legitimate conversation. It's a legitimate conversation because of what he did, man. And that's what you need to see right there, man. But y'all drop in the comment section, man. Defensively, or no. We'll stick with the offense, right? Well, you know what? I want to go defense. Who stood out to you guys on defense, man? Talk to me about that real quick, man. Unless y'all want to keep, well, actually, no, let's keep the Mason thing going. Y'all want to keep the Mason thing going? I see y'all keeping the Mason thing going. Are y'all saying y'all starting him this week? I feel like it's like a no convo. I think it's like simple. He starts this week, right? I don't think that's a conversation. Do we really gotta have that conversation? I think that's a simple conversation. That's why I was gonna say defense. Shoot, y'all let me know though. Y'all tell me in the comment section which way y'all want to go with this thing. Ray Martinez said Mason definitely made it a tough decision. Keebler's Keys says, if anything, you start Kenny and see if he utilizes being on the sideline like it helped Mason for 6 years. Hey, man, I'm scared to even mess with that, though, bro. You take Mason off that field, he might lose that mojo. I'm like, nah, bro, keep him out there. He need to stay. Bump that. Baby P says, Mason get the start. Okay. Javi Bird 420 say start Mason this week. Grant Anderson says play Mason, keep Kenny ready. I like that mindset. I definitely feel like if Kenny is ready, Kenny needs to at least be getting them number 2 reps in practice. But how do you not? How do you not put him out there, man? You know? Ooh, now shout out to Lifted Ones. Good question here. Lifted One says, does TJ Watt win Defensive Player of the Year? Man, that is a great question. I honestly don't know. I want him to win it so bad, man, because we know he's been on a tear this year, and rightfully so. And he's more than just sacks. And I think that's part of the conversation when we talk Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of times he gets enamored with who has the most sacks. And typically that has been the case, right, if you're doing pass rushers. But for TJ, he truly is an outside linebacker. So his impact is felt a little bit more ways than one. And that's the part where when we talk TJ, it's like this is what makes him a little bit more unique to me than your Myles Garrett or even a Donnell Hunter up in Minnesota who is running up the sacks as well. Michael Parsons, I think he has a case because of how dynamic he is. But I just don't know because part of me is like TJ is the more productive guy. But the way that they push these narratives on Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons is like, bro, it's hard to beat the machine. When the machine keeps saying this the guy, it's like, yo, all right now, they gonna roll with this dude just because everybody keeps saying it's gotta be this guy. They've been wanting it. So as much as I wanted to be TJ, I'm coin flipping Myles Garrett or Michael Parsons, honestly, man, because I think they're gonna try. They want one of them dudes to get that. For a fact, they want them to get it, man. Shoot, but I'm gonna turn it back on you, man. Who would you give it to? Is TJ your Defensive Player of the Year? Like I said, I rock with him, you know that. But I definitely think they're gonna go Myles Garrett or Michael Parsons, man. Yeah, Ricky West says TJ is deserving, but probably won't get it. Yeah, like I said, man, it was just weird. Like I said, how they keep pushing the Myles Garrett narrative. They keep pushing the Michael Parsons narrative. It's just like, bro, he's doing stuff that we've already seen TJ do plenty of times. But they don't push TJ's narrative the same way they push the other cat's narrative, man. Hey, and shout out to Kia Adams. Bro, Myles Garrett triple team rate this year is 32%. Watt is at 15%. And that's great. You know why one is higher? Because one is always rushing every single play. Whereas the other guy, you don't always know if he's rushing. You don't always know if he's going to be lined up here. Sometimes he drops in the cover. Sometimes he does this. Sometimes he does that. So when you're trying to allocate bodies to him, you can't do that as simple when you do not know where he's going to be. Hence the difference, man. So I get it. It's cool that he has a, 15%, or is that? I think it was a little bit over 15%. I can't remember the number you said in the chat, just jumped on me. So I get that dynamic, and that's fine. But if we talking what we talking, that's just a small portion of this conversation. And that's, like I said, which goes back to the thing about TJ versus Myles versus Michael Parsons, man. It's cool. Like I said, I know they're going to PFF me to death. And that's cool, too. And we know how we feel about PFF. When they say this guy is great, oh, we love it. When they say this guy sucks, oh, we hate him. It's PFF. So that's, like I said, that's my whole mindset with the thing, man. But, yeah, any of them dudes are deserving. I think that's the other part that we got to understand. Just because we want our guy to win or we think that our guy is better than that other guy don't mean that them two dudes aren't great as well. Don't mean that them two dudes aren't future Hall of Famers as well. All right? Myles Garrett is a heck of a player. Michael Parsons is a heck of a player. We just think that TJ is better. But trust me, them dudes in their own right are great. And yeah, man, if they win it, man, rightfully so for them dudes and their legacy, man. But like I said, we definitely feel like TJ is better, man. C. Brown said that TJ and Highsmith combo was fire. No, big facts, man. Like I said, the way both of them dudes feed off of each other, I love TJ's energy, man. That's the one thing that I would say, man. When he makes a play, the whole stadium just goes crazy because he's going crazy out there. Then you see Highsmith, man. Highsmith should have so many more sacks this season. He'd be whooping them tackles, coming across the corner, turning the corner. And it's like, dang, just missed. Dang, just missed. But then he finally gets home and it's like, yo, we love it. But I love, man, like I said, Highsmith showing that more ways than one. I'm going to be a playmaker. I'm going to produce. All right? I'm more than just a pass rusher. You see him out there in coverage, man, making a pick. We've seen him in coverage multiple times this year make plays, right? It's not his first pick this season. This is what Highsmith does, man. So, like I said, across the board, man, that combo right there is definitely proven to be the best tandem in the league right now, man. Shout out to Just Learning. Just Learning says, I still blame Tomlin for my wife acting stupid. LOL. Yeah, shout out to that, man. Y'all know we got to still blame Coach T, and there's always fire Canada, man. Y'all know that, man. All right. Yeah. Shoot, man, when I rolled out of bed this morning, my left slipper was a little bit too far away. I had to scoot up a little bit more to get my foot in the slipper. I blame Coach T for that too then. Yeah. And when I turned the water on to brush my teeth, the water wasn't like warm, like I needed it to be warm. I had to wait a little bit. I blame Matt Canada for that one. All right, so yeah, now we covered. And Chris G, yeah, the whole team played with a different energy. And that's what when I see stuff like that, that's the part where I'm saying to myself, this narrative of has Coach Tomlin lost the locker room, I don't feel like that's the case because you don't get that type of response out the gate, if you aren't able to connect with the locker room, right? If you're not able to still get in these guys' ear, if you're not able to still motivate these guys, because what was the incentive for this team to show up yesterday and play hard? The Cincinnati Bengals had just but they had just came back and beat the Vikings, right? Jake Browning had been playing really well, right? T. Higgins and company had been playing really well. We had just talked about switching to our third quarterback this year, right? Even more injuries on defense. There was every reason for our team to just come out there and lay an egg. And nobody would have tripped. We'd have been like, yo, fire Tomlin. And that's what we'd come here and been on, and that's what have been the narrative all week. But them dudes showed up. They showed up with an intensity, with a fire, with a passion. And it was out there for 4 quarters, man. Shout out to Still Nation as well, man. Y'all responded too, man. Absolutely. But that was one of them parts where I'm like, yeah, you ain't losing this locker room, man, if them dudes still responding like that. You haven't lost this locker room. You haven't lost your way. You haven't lost your ability to connect with these young cats if they can still respond like that in a situation like it was. We know in terms of playoff percentages, man, we was at, 12% yesterday? I think we had like a little bit higher percent today. But that wasn't a big incentive for the game yesterday. The big incentive was, yo, we want to come out here and be professional. We want to come out here and show we play Steelers football. And it doesn't matter the record. It doesn't matter the location. We're going to come out here and be more physical than you for 4 quarters. We're going to be fast. We're going to hit harder. We're going to be smarter. We're going to be more disciplined than you for 4 quarters. And that's what we saw, man. So salute Coach T as well, baby. Salute that man. In gorilla mode, yes. Jaylen Warren 100% is a true Steeler, man. I love watching him play, man. Love it. Like you said, he's selfless. Ball in his hands, he running it hard. He catching that rock. He gonna block, pass pro or run game, man. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Let's get it. Hey, Mike Cud, what up to you, baby? And Merry Christmas as well on the front end of this thing, man. As we are here on this Christmas Eve stream, one time for the culture, baby. Yes, sir. Hey, was it Demaculus? Is it? Yeah, Demalicus. Shout out to you, Demalicus. He says Eric Rowe and Patrick Peterson played well at the safety position. They definitely did, man. You think about both of them cats, right? Eric Rowe, we just picked up. It was like, yo, come on here. You about to start. Pat P. It was like, yo, you starting at safety this time. Let's go. Time to play. One cat hadn't played ball in over a year. One cat had never started at safety. And you think about both of those guys coming up with, splash plays defensively. Both of those guys, number one, I don't remember seeing a ton of blown assignments from them dudes, man. So in terms of the communication dynamic, right, where it needed to be. But then, man, just in terms of even though it was a simplified menu for them dudes defensively, everything was cover three, or the majority of it was cover three, and they was going to pressure run cover three. They was going window dress and run cover three. The thing that I liked was this. I thought, even though it was simplified, Pat P and Eric Rowe, the way that they were disguising, doing just some of their rocking, simple, but yet effective. Showing too high, somebody's going to walk down. But they just alternate who it would be. You know, things like that. Nothing crazy, but just enough. You know, just enough window dressing, just enough seasoning on that thing, man. That's what you wanted to see right there. So, like I said, I was definitely enjoying that part for them dudes right there. But that's what you need to see. You want to see this team respond in a major way. You want to see this team be able to show up in adversity and still put their best foot forward. And that's what we got. So, with that being the case, man, it's time to keep celebrating, enjoying this here, you know, Christmas Eve, this Victory Sunday. Hope y'all stay safe out there too, man. All right. And if y'all are celebrating the holidays, man, enjoy it. You know, be with people that you love, your loved ones, stuff like that, people that you make you feel good inside. You feel me? But definitely do that, man. Mike Lang. Oh, shout out to you, Mike Lang. I ain't even peep you. All right. Mike Lang just pulled up. He says, Moats, you starting Kenny? Question mark. And do you keep Pat P at safety going forward even next year? Inside linebacker room looks like the scene of Fresh Prince. Yeah, we all over the place, the inside linebacker room. But shout out to the young cats, man. Miles Jack, Michael Walker, Mark Robinson. Hey, man, they put it together. They did what they needed to do and got us out that stadium, man. Salute them boys. Pat P at safety. I love him there. I think that's where he belongs. We saw him starting to slow down a little bit at outside corner. I think slot, he can kind of get away with it on occasion. But at safety, he does appear to be at least really good. I know he's going to be really good from a coverage standpoint because he is a high-end Hall of Fame caliber corner, right? So he understands route concepts. He understands defense as a whole. He understands strengths and weaknesses, right? My big question for Pat P was always the tackling part, because at safety, you got to do a lot more tackling than you typically would at corner. And we know that Pat P, traditionally, that's not, you know, something that was a big part of his game. Could he do it? Sure, but that's not his forte. But what I will say is over these past couple of games, man, he has really stepped up his tackling in a major way. And I'm like, if you're continuing to do that, I don't see why you can't do this transition to safety and play it for a couple of years. No different than when we watched Charles Woodson transition from corner to safety. And we're like, man, even him at safety, that added another 5 years almost to his career because, yeah, he's elite speed at safety. He's starting to slow down from corner. That's the difference. He has elite ball skills for a safety. So for Pat P, it's like, man, if you can make sure your tackling is where it needs to be and you can consistently do that and you aren't, you know, you don't have any reservations about that, yeah, I don't see why that doesn't become the thing for him going forward. And yeah, in terms of if I'm starting Kenny this upcoming week, man, it ain't nothing personal about Kenny. It's just business. You know that. So unfortunately, I'm rolling with Mason. I'm riding the high hand. Now, we're going to see if Coach T does that, but that's my energy. I don't want to mess the vibe up. I'm like, we ain't had an offense look like this in a while. Period. So I'm not about to touch it. I'm about to we trying to box that up, and let me see if I can get that again in Seattle. All right. And yeah, we're going to roll it like that. But that's my mindset personally, baby. But yeah, man, this has been, like I said, a little vibe of a stream today, man. Little hour following the crazy dub last night, man. Salute once again, Mason Rudolph, though, across the board, man. Like I said, super impressed with him, man. Super impressed with this team. Boz continuing to do what he does as well, man. So, with that being the case, shout out to Mike Hood. Mike Hood said he's rolling with Mason as well. And Mark Cunningham brought up Rod Woodson's transition from corner to safety also. Yeah, that was a good catch by you, man. Salute you on that one, man. Definitely salute you on that one, baby. I like it. I like it. But like I said, man, that will do it for today's stream, man, because it is Christmas Eve, baby. And y'all need to be enjoying the holidays the same way I'm going to enjoy these holidays, all right? But we had to enjoy with this here dub from Mason Rudolph. Shout out to that Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. So y'all already know, man. Hit that like button one more time. Don't forget to subscribe. Be safe out there, man. Enjoy the holidays, man. And until next time, baby. Peace.